Barack Obama's recent remarks to a San Francisco audience last week have sparked the Clinton camp to label him an elitist. Obama said perhaps he shouldn't have used the word bitter to describe rural Americans who he says have turned to guns, religion, and antipathy toward people different from themselves. Will the elitist label give McCain and Clinton enough ammunition to turn the tide? Mike, what do you think?
I think this is the most entertaining election in history.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's we've got video now of Hillary throwing back Boilermakers.
I thought you were going to say Hillary Obama there for a minute, and I was going to get worried.
Crown Royal is not a Boilermaker.
Hillary is bending over backwards so far to appear to be the common man. I'm surprised she hasn't borrowed her husband's saxophone yet to get out there and to mix with the common folk. But it's laughable. I think it's laughable on one hand that Obama should be judged so harshly for these comments, but if Obama thinks that Hillary is mean, wait till he gets in the real race with the Republicans and the Karl Rove type strategists.
Well, it's not like John McCain, who's the son of an admiral, and his grandfather was an admiral, and Hillary don't have their own kind of elitist tinge to them anyway. So it's kind of one of those calling the kettle whatever elitist things. And the point that I like to make to people when they bring this up is, well, I hate to say this, but our founding fathers were not the guys that were standing on the corner chewing tobacco. They were a bunch of, I hate to use the word, elitists.
So many of them actually farmed, though.
Yes, but they didn't actually get out there and plow them fields. I'm sure they have a lot of...
John Adams, that's not true of most of our founding fathers.
So this reminds me of John Kerry. This whole thing, wasn't he labeled an elitist as well?
Yeah, Ivy League.
I think that the problem a Democrat has is they run and they've crafted a party that's all about the common people, and it's very populist in nature.
So you can't really be successful. And
well, but they keep nominating the richest and most elite people in their ranks to be the candidate, and there's this incongruity that I think leads to a lot of these examples. If the candidate is usually a millionaire or a Harvard grad, but again, the party is all about the common man and
so you need to
progressive values.
To appear to be blue collar.
Well,
when you're talking
but it's almost always a pretense. That's the thing.
But it's true on the Republican side.
The irony is
but the Republicans don't run as a party, in which they disdain business and wealth and things like that. I mean, again, this is my point. Is when the Democrats have a hard time where they craft an image, and then the candidates they nominate to carry that banner don't really fit the image.
Are you calling them posers, man?
Well.
The Democrats are posers?
But my feeling has been that if Obama gets the nomination, there's going to be buyer's remorse between the time that he kind of closes the deal, if he can close the deal, and maybe even the convention. But I think that's what Hillary's trying to sell right now is buyer's remorse. What are you getting here? I mean, will the real Obama please stand up? And I think it's working because a lot of people just don't know him.
Well, if anybody among them came from relatively simple ranks, it would be Obama. So if anybody could claim the common man position, it would be him. But he's strived so hard to raise himself up, and so now he's perhaps being judged by his success.
There was speaking of Hillary and not getting her out of this race, I always think of this skit from Saturday Night Live in 1988 when Bush was taking over for Reagan, and Saturday Night Live had this great skit where Nancy's in the White House, and it's time to go. It's time for the Reagans to leave, and she won't, and finally the staff has to grab her, and she's holding on to the door frame, because they can't get her out. And that image comes to mind when I think of the fact that Barack is looking at this candidate who has no real statistical possibility of being it, but she won't go. I mean, they won't go, and you're literally going to have to pry Hillary's hands off of the door jamb in order to get her out of this race.
Tell us how you really
Not to
feel
mention
about
Bill's, because he'll be right there holding on too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.